Stop right there. Do you still believe that playing fair will protect you? That kindness, fairness, and honesty will earn you power and respect? Here's the brutal truth. Fairness doesn't make you powerful, it makes you prey. The world doesn't reward those who play fair. It rewards those who play smart. And sometimes, that means being ruthless. Look around you. The colleague who works the hardest, shares the credit, and always plays fair, gets overlooked. The friend who sacrifices, gives endlessly, and never says no, gets exploited. The partner who avoids conflict and plays nice, gets disrespected. Society told you that fairness leads to success. But Robert Greene, in the 48 Laws of Power, revealed the darker reality. Power flows to those who bend the rules, not those who follow them. Respect goes to the ruthless, not the endlessly kind. And in today's cutthroat world, business, relationships, social media, if you play fair, you lose. In this video, you'll discover 10 of the darkest, most ruthless lessons that will flip the script. How to stop bleeding power by following the rules, and instead start commanding authority by bending them. How to stop being the exploited nice guy, and instead become the respected, untouchable presence in any room. If you stay until the end, you'll know how to rise faster, attract respect effortlessly, and gain success with less wasted energy, because you'll finally stop playing fair and start playing to win. 1. Stop playing fair. Fairness is for the weak. Stop right there. You've been lied to since childhood. Teachers, parents, even society drilled the same belief into your head: play fair, and life will reward you. But here's the brutal reality: fairness is not power, it's weakness. The world doesn't reward the fair. The world rewards the ruthless. Think about your own life. At work, have you ever shared credit equally, only to watch the loudest, boldest colleague take the promotion? In friendships, have you split everything fairly, only to realize the selfish one controls the group's decisions? In love, have you been the partner who gives and compromises, only to be taken for granted? Fairness feels safe. It feels moral. But in power dynamics, fairness is a slow death. It teaches you to wait your turn while others seize opportunity. It convinces you to divide the pie while others eat your slice. It makes you believe being good will be rewarded, when in truth, it only makes you predictable and weak. Fairness doesn't protect you, it strips you of leverage. Robert Greene warned us in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 15, crush your enemy totally. Partial mercy only leaves room for revenge. Law 28, enter action with boldness. Playing fair means holding back. Boldness wins. Law 34, act like a king to be treated like one. Kings don't divide power fairly, they demand it. Fairness assumes everyone plays by the same rules. But the powerful don't follow rules. They bend them, rewrite them, break them. That's why fairness is weakness. It's a game designed for losers. Power belongs to those ruthless enough to change the rules. History: Julius Caesar didn't play fair when Rome told him to step down. He crossed the Rubicon, breaking the rules, and became emperor. Napoleon ignored the fair traditions of slow-moving armies. He rewrote strategy with speed and deception, crushing larger forces. Machiavelli himself declared, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Fairness aims at love, power requires fear and respect. Business: Amazon didn't compete fairly with bookstores. It used ruthless pricing, logistics, and domination until bookstores collapsed. Microsoft crushed Netscape by bundling Internet Explorer for free. Was it fair? No. Was it powerful? Absolutely. Steve Jobs often took sole credit for ideas his team developed. Was it fair? No. Did it build Apple into a cult brand? Yes. Daily life. At the office, the quiet worker who plays fair with credit stays invisible. The bold one, who seizes the spotlight, is promoted. In neighborhoods, the person who always compromises becomes the one nobody listens to. The ruthless decision-maker controls outcomes. Relationships. The partner who always plays fair, splitting everything equally, avoiding conflict, gets taken for granted. The partner who sets terms, boundaries, and expectations is desired, respected, and obeyed. Social media. Creators who play fair by being neutral fade into noise. The ones who shock, disrupt, and polarize dominate attention. Fairness online equals invisibility. Ruthlessness online equals virality. Here's how to stop playing fair and start playing smart. Stop expecting reciprocity. Nobody owes you equal treatment. Remove that illusion. Take credit boldly. If you led the project, say it. Don't share recognition equally if you carried the weight. Negotiate for advantage. Stop splitting deals down the middle. Push for terms that favor you. Seize the spotlight. Don't hide behind fairness. Speak up in meetings, own the stage. Don't divide opportunities. Give more to those who multiply value, not to everyone equally. Be shameless about ambition. Fairness tells you to hide it. Power demands you display it. Protect your energy. Don't give equally to everyone. Invest only in the few who elevate you. Use rules as weapons. Instead of following them blindly, bend them to your advantage. Compete to dominate. Don't aim to tie, aim to win. Embrace being called unfair. That's the cry of the weak against the strong. When you stop playing fair, your life transforms. At work, you stop being invisible. You start being recognized, promoted, paid. People call you ambitious, but they also call you leader. In business, you stop being prey. You start setting terms, controlling markets, rewriting industries. Competitors complain about your unfair tactics, but you win. In relationships, you stop being predictable and taken for granted. You become the one who commands loyalty, desire, and respect. On social media, you stop being a quiet voice in the crowd. You become polarizing, magnetic, unforgettable. Inside yourself, you stop doubting and apologizing. You feel powerful, unapologetic, untouchable. Fairness is the mask of the powerless. Ruthlessness is the armor of the powerful. Say this right now: fairness is weakness. I choose power. Type it in the comments. Whisper it to yourself. Repeat it daily. Because the moment you stop playing fair, you stop being a pawn and start becoming a king. 2. Kindness without boundaries equals self-destruction. Stop right there. Do you think kindness guarantees respect? That generosity automatically builds loyalty? Here's the brutal truth. Kindness without boundaries doesn't make you powerful, it makes you weak. When you give endlessly, you don't earn respect. You train people to exploit you. Think carefully. At work, the colleague who covers everyone's tasks. They're liked, but never promoted. In friendships, the person who always pays the bill. They're invited, but never respected. In families, the member who sacrifices everything. They're depended on, but rarely valued. Unconditional kindness feels noble, but in reality, it's self-destruction. Why? Because people adapt to it. The more you give, the less they value. The more predictable your generosity, the faster it becomes invisible. Instead of power, you become a doormat. Robert Greene exposed this in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. The lesson? Generosity works only when it's strategic, limited, and rare. Endless kindness doesn't build respect. It erases it. Power comes not from constant giving, but from calculated, intentional giving. The moment kindness loses boundaries, it stops being virtue and becomes weakness. History. Ancient rulers who forgave enemies endlessly often fell, because mercy was read as weakness. Machiavelli wrote that rulers must balance cruelty with kindness. Too much kindness breeds rebellion. Business. Leaders who always say yes to employees lose authority. They become friends, not bosses. Companies that over-discount and give away value train customers to expect cheapness. Respect dies, profits vanish. Steve Jobs was not kind in leadership. He demanded, pushed, and challenged. That's why Apple thrived. Daily life. The parent who always gives in raises entitled children who don't respect them. The student who always helps classmates with homework becomes used, not admired. The neighbor who always says yes to favors ends up exhausted, ignored, and resentful. Relationships. The partner who gives endlessly is often taken for granted. Love dies not from lack, but from excess. Attraction is built on boundaries, not unlimited sacrifice. Social media. Accounts that give away too much content for free lose value. People scroll past them. Those who share strategically, just enough to hook attention, command authority. Here's how to turn kindness into power instead of weakness. Give selectively. Don't give to everyone. Give only where it creates leverage. Limit frequency. The rarer your kindness, the more powerful it feels. Say no often. Respect grows when you protect your energy. Tie kindness to standards. Reward loyalty, effort, or respect, not neediness. Surprise with generosity. Unexpected kindness is remembered. Predictable kindness is ignored. Don't explain every refusal. No doesn't need an essay. Boundaries speak for themselves. Invest kindness in the powerful. A small act to the right person builds more influence than endless giving to the wrong ones. Detach kindness from approval. Give because it's strategic, not because you crave validation. Withdraw generosity when disrespected. The moment someone takes you for granted, stop giving. Let them earn it. Scarcity builds value. The harder it is to get your kindness, the more they respect it. When you set boundaries on kindness, your life transforms. At work, you're no longer the office doormat. You're the professional whose time and help are valued. People think twice before asking for favors. In business, your brand stops being cheap or free. It becomes premium, respected, and trusted. Customers line up for your value. In friendships, you stop being the ATM or chauffeur. You become the friend others respect, not exploit. In relationships, you stop being taken for granted. Your boundaries create desire, respect, and balance. On social media, you stop bleeding value into the void. Your content gains weight, scarcity, and authority. Inside yourself, you stop feeling drained, resentful, and invisible. You start feeling powerful, magnetic, respected. Kindness is not the problem. Boundaries are. The moment you give with limits, kindness becomes strength, not weakness. Say this right now: my kindness has boundaries. My power has no limits. Type it in the comments, repeat it daily, live by it. Because the day you set limits on kindness is the day people finally start respecting you. 3. Mercy gets exploited. Fear creates order. Stop right there. Do you believe mercy makes you loved? That if you forgive enough, people will respect you? Here's the brutal truth. Mercy without limits doesn't create loyalty. It invites exploitation. The weak mistake mercy for weakness. The strong use fear to create order. Think about it. At work, the manager who forgives every mistake ends up with lazy employees. In friendships, the person who always lets things slide becomes the one everyone disrespects. In relationships, the partner who constantly forgives betrayal gets cheated on again. Mercy feels noble. It makes you feel righteous. But in reality, too much mercy creates chaos. Why? Because people repeat what you tolerate. If you forgive endlessly, they learn there are no consequences. And when there are no consequences, disrespect grows. Mercy without discipline doesn't build peace. It destroys order. Robert Greene captured this dark wisdom in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. Leaving them alive gives them time to rise again. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Fear keeps loyalty sharper than kindness ever could. Mercy works only when balanced with fear. Without fear, mercy is meaningless. Power flows not from endless forgiveness, but from the consequences you enforce. Fear, strategic, controlled fear, is what creates respect, discipline, and order. History. Julius Caesar forgave enemies until they killed him. Mercy invited betrayal. Genghis Khan mixed terror with mercy. Those who resisted were crushed. Those who submitted were protected. That's why his empire expanded. Machiavelli warned rulers, it is much safer to be feared than loved. Love is fragile, fear endures. Business. Bosses who are too forgiving create weak teams. Productivity collapses because no one fears consequences. Elon Musk is ruthless with standards at Tesla and SpaceX. Mercy is rare, excellence is expected. The result? Industry dominance. Netflix famously lets go of underperformers. Harsh? Yes. But it keeps the company sharp. Daily life. Teachers who never punish students lose control of classrooms. Parents who always forgive tantrums raise entitled children. Neighbors who forgive disrespectful behavior repeatedly become the ones nobody respects. Relationships. The partner who forgives constant betrayal is disrespected more each time. The one who sets a boundary, betray me once, you're gone, commands loyalty. Social media. Platforms that forgive rule breakers endlessly, spammers, trolls, become chaotic and unusable. Platforms that enforce fear, permanent bans, strikes, retain order and authority. Here's how to stop letting mercy destroy you, and instead use fear to create order. Set consequences clearly. Don't just warn. Define what happens if lines are crossed. Enforce instantly. Mercy delayed becomes weakness. Act quickly when rules are broken. Forgive selectively. Mercy should feel like a rare gift, not an expectation. Withdraw privileges. When disrespected, take something valuable away. Make fear visible. One example of discipline echoes louder than endless speeches. Balance fear with fairness. Be harsh with betrayal, but reward loyalty. Stop repeating forgiveness. If someone disrespects you twice, you trained them, not them you. Create unpredictability. Let people fear crossing you because they don't know how you'll respond. Detach emotionally. Don't punish in anger. Punish with cold strategy. End mercy when betrayed. Cut ties without hesitation. Betrayal tolerated is betrayal invited. When you stop misusing mercy, your entire world shifts. At work, you stop being the soft boss who gets ignored. You become the leader whose standards inspire fear and respect, and whose team performs at its peak. In business, you stop being exploited by competitors and clients. You become the one people fear to cross, and therefore respect. In friendships, you stop being the pushover. You become the one friends admire, because your boundaries make you reliable. In relationships, you stop being cheated on and ignored. You become the one who commands loyalty, desire, and respect. On social media, you stop tolerating chaos. You become the one who enforces discipline and earns authority. Inside yourself, you stop feeling drained and resentful. You start feeling calm, firm, untouchable, because people know where the line is, and they fear crossing it. Mercy without fear is suicide. Mercy balanced with fear is strategy. And when you master this balance, you rule. Say this right now: my mercy has limits. My fear creates order. Type it in the comments, whisper it daily, because the moment you stop forgiving endlessly, you stop being weak and start being powerful. 4. Predictability is suicide. Shock creates respect. Stop right there. Do you think being consistent makes you safe? That if people can always predict you, they'll trust and respect you? Here's the brutal truth. Predictability doesn't create respect, it destroys it. The predictable are easy to control. The unpredictable are feared, respected, and followed. Predictability is suicide. Shock creates respect. Think about your own life. At work, the colleague who always does the same thing, follows the same routine, never surprises anyone. They're invisible. In friendships, the person who's always available becomes background noise. In love, the predictable partner kills attraction. Desire dies when there's no surprise. Online, the creator who always posts safe, repetitive content fades into irrelevance. Predictability feels safe, but safe is boring, and boring is powerless. When people know exactly what you'll do, they stop respecting you. They stop fearing you, and once fear and respect vanish, you vanish. Robert Greene revealed this in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 17, keep others in suspended terror, cultivate an air of unpredictability. Law 6, court attention at all costs. Greene's point is clear: predictability breeds weakness. Unpredictability breeds authority. Shock breaks patterns. Shock demands attention. Shock makes people think twice before underestimating you. Machiavelli agreed. A leader doesn't need to be loved, but they must never be predictable. Because predictability invites attack. History. Genghis Khan terrified enemies not just with force, but with unpredictability. He struck at unexpected times, places, and with ruthless surprises. Hannibal crossed the Alps with elephants, something so shocking that Rome never expected it. Churchill, during World War II, mastered unpredictability in strategy, keeping enemies guessing until they made mistakes. Business. Elon Musk shocks markets with unpredictable tweets and moves. Critics call him reckless, but markets can't ignore him. Apple under Steve Jobs launched products nobody expected: the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. Predictability would have killed Apple. Shock made it iconic. Netflix disrupted Hollywood by suddenly shifting from DVD rentals to streaming. Predictable companies like Blockbuster died. Daily life. The employee who never surprises becomes replaceable. The one who occasionally shocks, speaks up, challenges, innovates, is remembered. The friend who always says yes fades. The one who occasionally shocks with a bold no earns respect. Relationships. The predictable partner is taken for granted. The partner who surprises with bold gestures, unexpected moves, shocking self-growth, keeps attraction alive. Social media. Predictable content dies in the algorithm. Shocking, bold, pattern-breaking posts explode into virality. Everywhere you look, shock creates authority. Predictability kills it. Here's how to stop being predictable and start commanding respect through shock. Break your patterns. Don't always say yes, don't always agree. Surprise with resistance. Drop a shocking truth. Speak what others are afraid to say. It commands silence and attention. Be unpredictable in timing. Act sooner or later than expected to disrupt expectations. Redefine your image. Change your look, your stance, your energy. Shock makes you memorable. Refuse once in a while. A sudden no hits harder than endless compliance. Change strategies mid-game. Keep competitors guessing. Never let them read your playbook. Mix kindness with ruthlessness. Kind one day, cold the next. They'll never know what to expect. Shock with achievement. Do what nobody thought you could. Then repeat. Withhold deliberately. Sometimes say nothing. Do nothing. Let silence be the shock. Stage a bold move. A sudden exit, an unexpected announcement, an unconventional idea. This imprints you in people's memory. When you stop being predictable and embrace shock, your world transforms. At work, you're no longer replaceable. You're the one people look to, because they don't know what you'll do next, but they know it matters. In business, you stop being outcompeted. You start leading markets with disruption and daring moves. Competitors watch you with fear. In friendships, you stop being always there. You become the one others respect, admire, and sometimes fear to lose. In relationships, you stop being boring. You become magnetic, because unpredictability keeps attraction alive. On social media, you stop fading into the algorithm. You start exploding into virality with shocking, pattern-breaking moves. Inside yourself, you stop living on autopilot. You start feeling powerful, alive, electric, because unpredictability puts you in control. Predictability is slow suicide, shock is survival, and respect belongs to the one who dares to shock. Say this right now: I am unpredictable. My shock commands respect. Type it in the comments, whisper it daily, because the moment you stop being predictable, you stop being disposable, and you start being untouchable. 5. Ruthless indecisions. Hesitation kills authority. Stop right there. Do you think waiting, hesitating, and taking your time makes you wise? Do you believe people respect the cautious thinker more than the bold mover? Here's the brutal truth. Hesitation doesn't make you wise, it makes you weak. Every second you wait, someone else is seizing the opportunity. Every pause you take, someone else is making the decision you were too afraid to make. Hesitation kills authority. Ruthless decisions create it. Think about it. At work, how many times have you waited too long to volunteer, only to watch someone bolder take the chance? In business, how many times did you stall on a deal, and someone more decisive claimed the client? In relationships, how many people have lost attraction because you hesitated to act? In life, how many doors have you let close, just because you were thinking? Hesitation doesn't protect you, it paralyzes you. The world doesn't reward the careful, it rewards the decisive. And when you hesitate, people see it. They see weakness, not wisdom. They see fear, not leadership. Robert Greene, in the 48 Laws of Power, made it clear. Law 28, enter action with boldness. Law 29, plan all the way to the end. Authority is built on decisiveness. Even a wrong decision delivered boldly inspires more respect than endless hesitation. Because boldness signals strength, hesitation signals weakness. Power belongs to those who move first, strike fast, and commit fully. History. Alexander the Great didn't hesitate. He struck fast, conquered empires before they could react. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon in one bold move. It was risky, but hesitation would have destroyed him. Napoleon's speed and decisiveness crushed slower, cautious generals. Business. Jeff Bezos made decisive moves, shifting Amazon from books to e-commerce, then to cloud computing. Hesitation would have killed Amazon. Elon Musk commits boldly. SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink. He makes mistakes, but boldness keeps him in control. Netflix's bold move into streaming crushed Blockbuster, who hesitated too long. Daily life. The employee who always says, "I'll think about it," gets forgotten. The one who says, "I'll do it," gets promoted. The friend who hesitates to take the lead in planning becomes irrelevant. The decisive one becomes the leader. Relationships. The person who hesitates to make the first move in dating is forgotten. The decisive one, who speaks up, asks, acts, earns attraction. In conflict, the hesitant partner looks weak. The decisive one commands respect. Social media. The creator who waits for perfection never posts. The one who posts decisively, even imperfectly, gains attention, respect, and growth. Everywhere you look, hesitation kills. Boldness wins. Here's how to stop hesitating and start building authority through ruthless decisions. Decide fast. Even a flawed decision beats no decision. Act boldly. Once chosen, commit fully. Set deadlines. Give yourself hours, not weeks, to decide. Kill perfectionism. Waiting for perfect kills momentum. Own mistakes. Bold errors teach faster than cautious inaction. Say yes quickly to opportunities. The first one to grab it is often the one who keeps it. Say no firmly. Hesitant no's weaken you. Clear no's command respect. Train speed daily. Small, rapid decisions build the muscle of boldness. Signal certainty. Even when unsure, speak with confidence. Reward decisiveness. Surround yourself with bold people. Cut the hesitant ones. When you cut hesitation and embrace ruthless decisions, your world transforms. At work, you stop being overlooked. You become the one who seizes opportunities, leads projects, and rises fast. In business, you stop missing chances. You dominate markets by moving first, adapting faster, and striking harder. In friendships, you stop being the follower. You become the one who decides, leads, and influences. In relationships, you stop being ignored. You become magnetic, because decisiveness signals strength, confidence, and power. On social media, you stop hiding drafts. You start posting, growing, leading, because bold action beats endless planning. Inside yourself, you stop drowning in doubt. You feel powerful, sharp, alive, because you know hesitation is dead weight. Hesitation is weakness. Boldness is power. And when you act decisively, people follow you, not because you're always right, but because you never freeze. Say this right now: hesitation kills. Boldness builds. Type it in the comments, repeat it daily, because the day you stop hesitating is the day you stop being weak and start being a leader. 6. Stop seeking approval. Respect is currency, not love. Stop right there. Do you think being liked is the key to power? Do you believe that if everyone approves of you, success will follow? Here's the brutal truth. Approval doesn't make you powerful, it makes you dependent. The more you chase love, the less respect you earn. And without respect, you have nothing. Respect is the real currency of power. Not approval, not love, respect. Think about your own life. At work, the employee who always tries to be the nice guy gets overlooked. The one who commands respect gets promoted. In friendships, the person who always seeks validation becomes the clown of the group, the entertainer, not the leader. In relationships, the partner who bends over backward to please loses attraction. Desire dies when respect is gone. Online, creators who beg for likes lose influence. The ones who demand attention by value earn authority. Seeking approval feels safe. It feels warm. But it's poison. Why? Because it places your power in other people's hands. If you need their love, they control you. If you demand their respect, you control yourself. Robert Greene made this clear in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 34, be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. Kings don't seek approval. They demand respect. Law 46, never appear too perfect. Trying to impress everyone creates envy and weakness. The world doesn't respect approval seekers. It respects those who stand apart, set standards, and command authority. Respect endures. Approval fades. And if you must choose, always choose respect. History. Julius Caesar didn't win Rome by being loved. He won by being respected and feared. Queen Elizabeth I didn't bend for approval. She commanded loyalty by projecting authority. Machiavelli himself wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Business. Steve Jobs wasn't loved by his employees. Many disliked him, but they respected his vision and followed him to build Apple. Jeff Bezos isn't admired for kindness. He's respected for domination, efficiency, and ambition. Elon Musk divides opinion. Some hate him, but all respect him, because he doesn't seek approval, only progress. Daily life. The class clown is liked, but never respected. The bold student who speaks with authority is remembered. The friend who always says yes is liked, but also used. The one who sets boundaries is respected. Relationships. The partner who always seeks approval, "Do you still love me?" pushes love away. The one who is firm, confident, and self-sufficient attracts respect and lasting desire. Social media. Creators who try to please everyone are ignored. Creators who stand for something polarizing are respected and go viral. Everywhere you look, love fades. Respect lasts. Here's how to stop seeking approval and start commanding respect. Say no without guilt. Approval seekers can't say no. Leaders can. Stop apologizing excessively. Save apologies for real mistakes, not for existing. Speak less, mean more. Every word should carry weight. Approval seekers ramble, leaders deliver. Stop explaining yourself. Your choices need no approval. Reward respect, not affection. Value those who honor your boundaries, not those who flatter you. Stand firm under criticism. Approval seekers crumble, leaders stand tall. Detach from praise. Enjoy it, but don't depend on it. Detach from hate. Critics prove you're visible. Respect beats approval. Project authority. In posture, tone, presence. Command, don't beg. Act like a king. Set standards, enforce them, and watch people treat you accordingly. When you stop seeking approval, your life transforms. At work, you stop being the overlooked nice guy. You start being the one others admire and obey. In business, you stop chasing popularity. You start attracting power players who respect your vision. In friendships, you stop being the clown. You start being the leader, the one people listen to. In relationships, you stop being taken for granted. You become magnetic, desirable, respected. On social media, you stop begging for likes. You start commanding attention and authority. Inside yourself, you stop doubting. You feel solid, confident, untouchable. Because when you stop needing approval, you become truly free. Approval makes you a prisoner. Respect makes you a king. Say this right now: I choose respect over approval. Type it in the comments, repeat it daily, because the moment you stop chasing approval, you stop being weak, and you start being powerful. 7. Attack weakness, not strength. Stop right there. Do you believe power comes from challenging the strongest person in the room? Do you think respect is earned by fighting head-to-head with giants? Here's the brutal truth: attacking strength is suicide. The smartest players never waste energy there. They search for weakness, exploit it, and win with ease. Power doesn't come from clashing with strength. It comes from dissecting weakness and crushing it. Think about it. At work, how many people waste years trying to outshine the boss, only to burn out or get crushed? In business, how many startups collapse because they tried to beat giants on the giants' terms? In relationships, how many partners fight battles they can never win, instead of pressing on where they hold leverage? On social media, how many creators fade because they imitate the strongest voices, instead of finding the weak spots nobody covers? Attacking strength drains you. Attacking weakness elevates you. But most people don't see this. They fight uphill battles, confuse ego for power, and wonder why they keep losing. Robert Greene made this clear in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 33, discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a weak point, an insecurity, a habit, a blind spot. Law 15, crush your enemy totally. Not by charging into their strongest defenses, but by exposing their weakest link. Power is not about being the biggest or loudest. It's about being the most strategic. The ruthless never waste energy fighting strength. They find weakness and exploit it mercilessly. History: David didn't beat Goliath by wrestling him. He found the weak spot, the forehead, and struck with precision. Hannibal crushed Rome not by frontal assaults but by ambushing where Rome was blind. World War II: the Allies didn't storm German strength first. They opened weaker fronts, slowly bleeding power until the core collapsed. Business: Netflix didn't compete directly with Hollywood at first. It attacked the weakness of video rental stores, late fees. Inconvenience: Uber didn't beat taxis head-on. It exploited the weakness, lack of transparency, poor availability, no digital ease. Apple didn't crush Microsoft on productivity tools. It exploited Microsoft's weakness, lack of design and innovation, and won hearts with beauty and simplicity. Daily life: The quiet employee doesn't have to challenge the boss. They can attack weakness by solving problems others ignore, and suddenly, they're indispensable. The student who can't outsmart everyone in academics can find a weak spot: public speaking, networking, creativity, that others neglect, and dominate there. Relationships. The partner who argues head to head always loses. The one who knows their partner's weak spots, emotional triggers, habits, and navigates them strategically holds the power. Social media. You can't out-muscle the biggest creators by copying. But you can expose their weaknesses, slow response, lack of depth, or ignoring niches, and dominate there. Everywhere you look, weakness, not strength, is the real battlefield. Here's how to stop wasting energy on strength and start winning by attacking weakness. Study people obsessively. Find their blind spots, fears, and insecurities. Observe patterns. Predictable habits equals weak points waiting to be used. Probe gently. Test small moves to reveal where resistance is weakest. Exploit scarcity. Take what others neglect. It becomes your strength. Avoid ego battles. Never fight where they're strongest. Walk away, then hit where they're soft. Use surprise. Weakness hides in the unexpected. Shock exposes it. Weaponize silence. Sometimes saying nothing reveals others' insecurity. Leverage allies. Weak networks break faster than strong defenses. Turn kindness into traps. Strategic generosity exposes dependency. Strike once, decisively. Exploiting weakness only matters if you finish it. When you stop attacking strength and start exploiting weakness, everything changes. At work, you stop wasting years battling bosses. You rise by solving invisible problems and striking where others fail. In business, you stop dying in battles with giants. You carve dominance in niches their strength blinds them to. In friendships, you stop fighting for attention. You start holding quiet leverage because you know the cracks no one else sees. In relationships, you stop being powerless in conflicts. You start guiding outcomes by knowing your partner's true triggers. On social media, you stop copying titans. You start building authority in weak spots they ignore, until they can't compete with you. Inside yourself, you stop exhausting energy in ego battles. You feel powerful, precise, untouchable, because you know strength is loud, but weakness is fatal. Power doesn't belong to the biggest. It belongs to the most strategic. Attack strength, and you lose. Attack weakness, and you win. Say this right now: I exploit weakness. I waste nothing on strength. Type it in the comments, whisper it daily, because the day you stop chasing ego battles and start exploiting weakness, you stop being a pawn and start being a strategist. 8. Control rules of the game. Don't just play, redesign. Stop right there. Do you believe success comes from following the rules better than everyone else? That if you play fair inside the system, you'll rise to the top? Here's the brutal truth: if you're only playing the game, you're already losing. The real power doesn't belong to players. It belongs to those who design the rules. You don't win by following the system. You win by bending it or rewriting it. Think about it. At work, the employee who follows all the rules perfectly stays stuck. The one who bends them smartly gets promoted. In business, small companies that play fair get crushed. The giants rewrite regulations to benefit themselves. In friendships, the person who plays by others' terms gets used. The one who sets the tone controls the group. In relationships, The partner who always plays fair is predictable. The one who sets the standards defines the dynamic. On social media, creators who play by safe formulas fade. The ones who shock, disrupt, and break patterns dominate. Following rules feels safe, but rules are designed to keep you in line. When you never question them, you become a pawn. Robert Greene exposed this in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 45: preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. The true strategist changes systems slowly, strategically. Law 48: assume formlessness. The powerful don't get trapped in rules. They shift, adapt, and reshape the game. The world doesn't reward rule followers. It rewards rule makers. Players fight for scraps. Designers control the feast. History. Julius Caesar didn't just play Roman politics. He rewrote it, declaring himself dictator for life. Napoleon rewrote military rules with speed and maneuver, crushing slower generals. The founding fathers of America didn't play within the British system. They rewrote the rules of government itself. Business. Amazon rewrote the rules of retail, dominating logistics and e-commerce, destroying bookstores who played fair. Tesla didn't play by car industry rules. It rewrote them: electric, software-driven, direct to consumer. Facebook bent the rules of privacy to dominate social networks. Billions complain, but billions still play. Daily life. The student who follows every classroom rule gets good grades, but remains average. The one who bends the rules, asks bold questions, challenges teachers, gets remembered. The worker who follows HR's handbook never rises. The one who networks, negotiates, and shifts rules of influence climbs higher. Relationships. The partner who always plays fair gets predictable. The one who sets boundaries, standards, and terms rewrites the rules of love, commanding respect and attraction. Social media. The algorithm is a rule system. Creators who simply follow it get average views. The ones who disrupt, clickbait, shock, polarize, bend the rules to go viral. Everywhere you look, those who play by rules serve. Those who rewrite rules rule. Here's how to stop being a player and start controlling the game. Identify who made the rules. Once you see their interests, you see the trap. Ask, who benefits? If it's not you, it's time to bend the system. Look for loopholes. Every rule has one. Powerful people always find them. Create your own standards. Stop waiting for others to define success. Negotiate terms, don't accept them. Players accept rules. Leaders rewrite contracts. Change environments. If the rules trap you, switch to a battlefield where they don't apply. Use rules against others. Quote them when convenient. Break them when necessary. Innovate visibly. Show people you're not just following, you're reshaping. Stay flexible. Don't get trapped in your own rules. Adapt constantly. Control narratives. Whoever tells the story controls the rules. When you stop playing fair and start rewriting rules, your life transforms. At work, you stop being a rule-following employee. You become the one who shapes culture and leads. In business, you stop fighting giants on their terms. You build new systems where they can't compete. In friendships, you stop being controlled by group dynamics. You set the tone, and people follow. In relationships, you stop being predictable. You start commanding respect, because you set the standards. On social media, you stop drowning in average views. You start bending the algorithm, turning visibility into dominance. Inside yourself, You stop feeling trapped. You start feeling free, creative, untouchable, because you know rules are tools, not chains. Players are forgotten. Rule makers are remembered. And if you want power, don't just play, redesign. Say this right now: I don't just play the game. I control it. Type it in the comments. Whisper it daily. Because the day you stop following rules is the day you start ruling. 9. Be cold with betrayal. Cut, don't fix. Stop right there. Do you believe forgiveness heals betrayal? That giving people second chances makes you noble, wise, even powerful? Here's the brutal truth. Betrayal is not an accident, it's a decision. And when you forgive it, you don't heal the bond. You fuel the next betrayal. Powerful people don't repair betrayal. They cut it off, cold, final, ruthless. Think carefully. At work, how many times has a colleague stabbed you in the back, only for you to forgive and move on, until they did it again? In business, how many partnerships collapsed because you ignored red flags after the first betrayal? In relationships, how many people gave chance after chance, only to be lied to, cheated on, and abandoned again? Forgiving betrayal feels moral, but morality is not power. Betrayal tolerated becomes betrayal repeated. The first betrayal is on them. The second betrayal is on you. Robert Greene warned us in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Friends betray easily because they assume forgiveness. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Don't offend the wrong person. A single act of betrayal reveals character. Powerful people don't cling to broken trust. They see betrayal as truth revealed, and they act ruthlessly, cutting ties, never looking back. History. Julius Caesar forgave enemies repeatedly. It cost him his life, stabbed 23 times by men he once spared. Stalin, in contrast, executed betrayers without hesitation. Fear secured loyalty. Machiavelli wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Betrayal is not healed by words, but by consequences. Business. Apple cut ties with suppliers and partners who betrayed contracts. The result? Stronger control over its empire. Netflix fired executives who leaked information. Swift, cold moves kept order intact. Leaders who tolerated betrayal, weak managers, forgiving CEOs, lost authority, loyalty, and ultimately, companies. Daily life. The employee who ignores a coworker's sabotage becomes the easy target for more. The friend who forgives lies repeatedly becomes the group's fool. The neighbor who tolerates constant disrespect ends up losing all standing. Relationships. The partner who forgives cheating is usually cheated on again. The one who cuts ties immediately commands respect and never faces betrayal twice. Social media. Influencers betrayed by managers, editors, or friends who steal content. Those who forgive vanish. Those who expose and cut ties cold rise stronger, more respected. Lesson 10. Ruthless actions. Here's how to stop tolerating betrayal and start enforcing ruthless respect. See betrayal as a pattern. One act exposes the truth. Don't wait for more. Cut ties immediately. Don't argue, don't explain. Cold silence speaks louder. Replace quickly. Remove the betrayer and install loyalty fast. Never recycle trust. Once broken, it's dead. Don't revive corpses. Show consequences publicly. Others must see betrayal has a price. Stop emotional bargaining. Betrayal is not about feelings, it's about power. Use betrayal as clarity. Thank it silently. It reveals who is truly against you. Don't seek revenge. Cold removal is more powerful than messy retaliation. Strengthen loyalty elsewhere. Reward those who stay true to you. Adopt the mindset. Betrayal ends the story. No excuses, no reruns. When you stop fixing betrayal and start cutting it cold, your life transforms. At work, you stop being the naive employee who gets stabbed twice. You become the leader others fear to cross. In business, you stop wasting resources on toxic partners. You build empires with loyal allies, not leeches. In friendships, you stop being the fool everyone exploits. You become the one nobody dares betray. In relationships, you stop living in cycles of lies. You command loyalty, or you cut ties and move forward stronger. On social media, you stop being robbed of credit. You become the creator who owns your empire and enforces boundaries. Inside yourself, you stop feeling drained, humiliated, and betrayed. You feel calm, powerful, untouchable, because you know betrayal is never fixed, only removed. Mercy heals mistakes. Ruthlessness ends betrayal, and that's the only path to true power. Say this right now: I don't fix betrayal. I cut it cold. Type it in the comments. Whisper it daily, because the day you stop fixing betrayal is the day people stop daring to betray you. 10. Never compete where they expect. Shift the battlefield. Stop right there. Do you think victory comes from fighting harder than everyone else? Do you believe respect is earned by meeting your enemy head-on their battlefield? Here's the brutal truth. If you fight where they expect you, you've already lost. The smartest don't compete head-to-head. They shift the battlefield. You don't win by matching strength with strength. You win by forcing others to play your game. Think about it. At work, how many employees waste years competing in the same promotion race, while someone smarter bypasses the track completely? In business, how many startups collapse because they fight giants on the giants' terms? Cheaper prices, bigger ads, faster delivery? In relationships, how many partners argue endlessly in predictable ways, instead of changing the conversation completely? On social media, how many creators fade because they copy the strongest trends, instead of shifting the narrative to something new? Competing where others expect drains your energy. It traps you in their system, and their system is designed for you to lose. Robert Greene highlighted this wisdom in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. His message? The battlefield is never neutral. The side that controls the rules of engagement controls the outcome. Machiavelli also warned, never fight battles of ego. The clever win not by fighting harder, but by fighting smarter. Power doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the strategist who moves the battlefield. History. Hannibal shocked Rome by crossing the Alps with elephants. Rome expected a direct fight. Hannibal shifted the battlefield and terrified an empire. Sun Tzu wrote, "Appear at places to which the enemy must hasten. Move swiftly where they do not expect you." Vietnam's guerrilla warfare defeated stronger armies by avoiding direct battles, fighting on chosen terrain. Business. Netflix didn't fight Blockbuster with physical stores. It shifted to streaming. Blockbuster died. Uber didn't fight taxis at taxi stands. It moved the battlefield to apps, GPS, and user convenience. Apple didn't outmuscle Microsoft in spreadsheets. It shifted to design, branding, and culture, territory Microsoft couldn't touch. Daily life. The employee who competes for promotions the normal way gets stuck. The one who shifts to building influence with executives bypasses the line. The student who competes in grades may lose. The one who shifts to networking, public speaking, or unique projects builds lasting leverage. Relationships. The predictable partner who argues the same way loses every fight. The one who shifts, changing the frame of the discussion, wins by redefining the rules. Social media. Copycat creators vanish. Those who shift, creating new formats, breaking patterns, set trends, control algorithms, and dominate. Here's how to stop fighting where they expect and start shifting the battlefield. Identify the trap. Ask, where am I competing on their terms? Refuse the obvious battle. Walk away from ego fights. Choose your ground. Find hidden leverage. Use skills, angles, or connections others ignore. Change the timeline. Move faster or slower than they expect. Reframe the rules. Redefine what winning means. Use indirect attacks. Hit where they're unprepared, not where they're ready. Exploit terrain. Choose environments where you hold advantage. Weaponize surprise. Enter from the side, not the front. Build new systems. If the game is rigged, create a new game. Stay unpredictable. Never let them know where to expect you. When you stop competing where they expect and start shifting the battlefield, your life transforms. At work, you stop wasting years in the promotion race. You bypass the system, creating opportunities others never saw. In business, you stop fighting giants on their turf. You carve new markets where they can't follow. In friendships, you stop losing energy in pointless comparisons. You set your own terms, and others adapt to you. In relationships, you stop repeating the same arguments. You gain respect by reframing dynamics on your terms. On social media, you stop drowning as a copycat. You rise as the trendsetter, forcing others to copy you. Inside yourself, you stop feeling trapped in rigged systems. You start feeling powerful, free, untouchable, because you know you can always shift the battlefield. The strongest warrior isn't the one who fights hardest. It's the one who makes others fight where they cannot win. Say this right now: I don't fight on their battlefield. I create my own. Type it in the comments, repeat it daily, because the day you stop competing where they expect is the day you stop losing and start ruling. So here's the truth: if you've watched until this point, you already feel the shift. You've learned why playing fair keeps you weak, why chasing approval destroys respect, why hesitation kills authority, and why the real power comes from being ruthless enough to set the rules, cut betrayal cold, and shift the battlefield to your advantage. Imagine living this way, no longer drained by fake friends, no longer trapped in systems designed to keep you small, no longer begging to be liked because you command respect. This is what Robert Greene showed us in the 48 Laws of Power. And when you apply it today, in the modern world, you stop being a pawn and start being the strategist of your own life. Now, here's what I want you to do. Hit that like button if this woke you up. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next videos will go even deeper into the darkest, most powerful laws. And drop a comment right now: I choose power over weakness. Because the more we share this, the more people wake up. And together, we build a world where respect is earned, not begged for.